Ladies and gentlemen, this is your AEW Dynamite review on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. I am Joseph Conlon here tonight on the Big Fight Field channel to break down tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. We had a loaded show, a very good lineup tonight. We had Women's Championship, the TNT Championship on the line, Hangman Page versus Ricky Starks. We saw a sit-down interview with the Pinnacle. We saw a lot of crazy things tonight. It was what I thought a great show, just like I expected it to be. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna bring them on here right now. You already know, the co-host on Wednesday nights, Mr. Wesley Williams, with his little Hawaiian attire tonight.
I'm actually repping my favorite game system with the PlayStation button down tonight, but we're not here to talk about attires. We're here to talk about AEW, baby. Wednesday night, the best night of pro wrestling, you already know, and the best duo covering AEW Dynamite, Joseph Conlon, Wesley Williams. We're bringing more magic week in, week out, and it's no different tonight. Let's get into it, my man.
Absolutely, man. So, first off, let me get your thoughts on the show. What'd you think about tonight's show? I thought it was great. So,
yeah, a very fun show. Very fun show. AEW, man, they know how to build up their cars. They know how to build up their shows, man. Every week is must see, and I love it.
Absolutely, man. We got a lot to talk about. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we got blood and guts, man. We got blood and guts. But before we get into everything from tonight's show, if you have not already, be sure to go check out this past Monday's Raw review on the Big Fight Field channel. And go check out last night's NXT review up on the Big Fight Field channel with my co-host on there, Cameron Johnson. So if you haven't checked those two reviews out already, make sure you go ahead and do so. And let's get into it, man. We opened up the show with number one ranked Adam Hangman Page, who is on a 7-match winning streak. And he went one-on-one with Ricky Starks, who is on a 10-match winning streak. And I like that they brung that up for each guy, because it makes it feel like you're watching a sport, kind of like when a football team, say the Kansas City Chiefs, are 10-0, and they're going up and they're playing their toughest test to date. They're going to play the Baltimore Ravens, just say. I like it. It makes it feel like a sports aspect on a wrestling show, and I really like that. I don't know if you could give your quick thoughts on it, but do you agree with me somehow?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, little stuff like that AEW adds into matches. I mean, it says a lot, and it means a lot more for the matches themselves. You know, Hangman and Starks, both of their respective win streaks. I mean, it really keeps you guessing kind of in the match, because some people were kind of thinking Starks is going to come out as the winner tonight. We'll get into that in just a little bit here, but I wouldn't have mind seeing that myself. But it really keeps you guessing, keeps you on the fence of who might win and who might lose.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive into the match right here. I thought the opening match was really good. The only hiccup in this match, I'm sure everybody knows it, was when Hangman Page was giving Ricky Starks a German suplex, and commentary pretended like Ricky Starks landed on his feet. Ricky Starks landed right on his neck. That stuff, that made me absolute cringe. So I did not like that part at all. Taz was on commentary. He's amazing. We all know about Taz. Hangman Page went for the Deadeye. Starks reversed it. He went for the Buckshot Lariat. Starks reversed it into a spear. Page kicked out. Starks then went for Rochambeau, his finishing maneuver. Page reversed it into a Deadeye setup. Page put Starks in a submission hold. It was like a crossface, and he was holding his left ankle that he hurt during the match. And Starks tapped out very quickly. And then after the match, Taz was like, Hangman, you better watch your back really, really closely. So Hook, Taz's son, attacked Page, weak kicks. Brian Cage even came out and attacked Hangman Page. Then out came the entire Dark Order to run off Team Taz. And that was the opening to tonight's Dynamite. Really good match outside of that one scary thing with Ricky Starks' neck. But I thought it was really good. And Hangman Page, I know people were campaigning for Ricky Starks to win this match. Hangman Page is not losing another match until he faces Kenny Omega for the World Championship, which we'll get into after my man Mr. Williams gives his thoughts on the opening match.
Well, I thought this was a great way to kick us off here on Dynamite tonight. AEW knows how to kick off their show. If there's one thing we know about them is that they know how to kick off their shows hot. Great match here. Spot with the Ricky Starks. Yep, it had my heart out. I'll be honest, that was horrifying. But you know what was? I will say something cool about that spot, even though it was horrible. It was a very scary spot. Thank the Lord that Ricky's okay. But the fact that he got right up and no-sold that goes to show you how badass of a guy that Ricky Starks is. I mean, that was truly a big moment right there for him. I feel like that said a lot about him right there. And but yeah, thank goodness that Ricky Starks is okay. Really scary spot there. Obviously that wasn't meant to happen at all, but glad to hear that he's okay. Great match. Page, Starks, worked really well together. It was, again, with the little win streaks going on with both guys, it kept you really guessing, like, would Hangman come out with the win or would Starks come out with the win? But Hangman picks up the win, kind of the more obvious choice there. But it's starting to look more clear that Hangman might be getting that world title shot at Double or Nothing, which I would prefer to wait later, but, who else is really lined up for Kenny Omega right now for the AEW world title? Nobody. So it kind of all makes all the sense now to just go ahead and do Page and Omega, but we shall see what happens as we head into that May 30th date.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nobody else on that roster who is ready for Kenny Omega outside of Hangman Page, and it's more probably, I don't know how they're going to do it, I don't know how they're going to build up to this match. The pay-per-view is literally a month away, so if this is going to be a big main event, you might as well just crown Hangman Page. Make Hangman Page and Brian Cage. They're having a match next week. Make that match the number one contender match. Winner faces Omega at Double or Nothing. That wasn't announced, but, give the match a little bit more stakes. It'll be a great match, but I would have that. We all know it's going to be Page and Omega. I would have that a number one contender match to upper the stakes a little bit. Now, could you see something? Because, quite frankly, with the Young Bucks added to the group, now with Kenny Omega, I would personally think it's too early for Omega to drop the title. Could you see something where Omega beats Hangman Page, and Hangman Page goes on this depressed, down road, losing the world title, and maybe they build him back up. The Dark Order is really, really behind his side. He's out there. They're out there for his match. And then maybe at Full Gear or to close out the year or at Revolution of 2022, Hangman Page finally gets his moment by beating Kenny Omega and being the world champion. Could you see something like that play out?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Knowing that the whole story with Page, up until this point, it's been like, people have called him out for being, you're just a sore loser. You're all depressed. You're drinking your sorrows away. I can definitely see them play something like that out because, we get Page and Omega, Double or Nothing. Omega wins. Page, like you said, goes on this long streak of being depressed, feeling like just a total loser. And it would be a great, I think, babyface comeback story that you could definitely play out with Hangman Page. He's definitely a right candidate to do that kind of storyline. So I can definitely see that playing out as we head into Double or Nothing and afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I personally think it's too early to take the title off of Kenny Omega. So we'll have to see what happens. A lot of scenarios with Page and Omega. We're going to move on here. We have Penta El Cero M, who's got new theme music, and he is going one-on-one with Trent of the Best Friends. This was a fun match. A lot of great offense. Penta, a lot of people give Rey Fenix credit. Penta deserves the same amount of credit as Rey Fenix does. Hit a beautiful destroyer on Trent, nice and crisp. Trent then went to spear Penta on the outside of the ring. Then Alex Abrahantes, the translator for Penta, got on the microphone, and he was like, you know, Trent, Penta told me before the match, and I forgot to tell you. I might as well tell you now. Penta says, all your friends suck, Orange Cassidy sucks, and more importantly, Trent, your mama sucks. So you know that pissed off Trent. You can't make fun of Sue like that, man. It's breaking a law, you know? So you can't make fun of Sue. Trent gets chased by Alex Abrahantes. Orange Cassidy then goes into the ring, and he gets face-to-face with Alex. Penta then gives Orange Cassidy a super kick, and Abrahantes hits the microphone on the head of Trent without the referee looking. Penta hits a package pile driver, and Penta got the win over Trent. A much-needed win in a singles match for Penta, even with the help of Abrahantes. I guess that was just to set up the match next week that is going to be happening between Penta and Orange Cassidy. But for what it was, I thought this match was fun. It was fine for what it was. Both guys are great, and yeah, it just moves on to the with the Death Triangle Best Friends and Orange Cassidy storyline. So that's all I got for that. Your words of this match.
Yeah, I thought this was a very fun match between both Trent and Pentagon. Both guys are great at their crafts, and Pentagon here, much needed win, like you said. I really enjoy having Alex Abrahantes there as his mouthpiece, his manager, his translator. It really is a dynamic that truly fits between both guys. And I love the whole line with Alex Abrahantes talking about Trent's mom. I mean, come on, man, you can't go after Trent's mom, man. It's the same with the minivan. You can't go after the minivan. So that was very good there. But I'm loving the fact that Best Friends have just completely moved on now into this storyline here with Death Triangle. It's much better than what they were doing with Kip Sabian and Miro. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this continues to play out. I imagine, we'll see Phoenix probably tied up with Chuck Taylor. We'll see Pac tied up with Orange. And next week, we got Penta versus Orange Cassidy, which should be a banger of a match. So I'm looking forward to seeing where the storyline leads and who comes out victorious.
Well, we are getting the Chuck Taylor and Rey Fenix match, as that I saw a tweet on Twitter that match actually took place before Dynamite, and it's going to be on Monday's Elevation show. I know you watch the show, so I just wanted to tell you that.
Nice. That's going to be awesome, man.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for that.
We had a We had a sit-down interview with Jim Ross. He sat down with the Pinnacle. MJF cut an amazing What's new? Grass is green. MJF cuts an amazing promo. In my opinion, the dude's the best promo in the business, and he's only 25 years old. That is scary, in my opinion. That is pretty scary. I can't go over the promo word for word because it would be just too much. I'm gonna talk about. So I'm not gonna go over the promo word for word, but I do want to talk about what I did like in the promo. I did like that MJF let Wardlow talk. Wardlow talked about Jericho for a little bit, and when he had your Immortal promo 2 weeks ago, you mentioned my name, and you sounded scared when you mentioned my name because you knew you were making a big mistake bringing up my name. And I'm going to smash my knee into your face or something like that at Blood and Guts. I like the fact that they let Wardlow talk because we need to hear him talk. He can't just be this big dude walking around, in my opinion, because not now. but someday Wardlow will turn on MJF, and they will feud. And I think Wardlow can talk. We saw tonight. He can talk fine. I like the fact that they let him talk. MJF, I mean, he's a god at promos, so what more do I have to say? And this is how you get this segment and the Inner Circle segment, which wasn't great. It was good. It was very good. But this was a strong selling point to the Blood and Guts match. And once again, for next week, the final stop before Blood and Guts, we are having a parlay between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle next week on Dynamite. So, your thoughts on the sit-down interview with the Pinnacle with JR?
Yeah, this was an excellent segment. I mean, I really don't need to go over MJF's promo. Folks, if you're watching, just go back and watch it if you missed it. I mean, MJF is just the master of promos. I mean, who better than MJF? But I agree with you, Joseph. I like the fact that they let Wardlow talk. It was different. It was something kind of new. We don't really get to see Wardlow talk all that much, so it was really cool to hear him bring up the fact that Jericho kind of stumbled over his words last week in his promo, and Wardlow was bringing up the fact that, man, you're just scared of me. That's the reason why you stumbled over, because you knew you made a big mistake, talking about me and what I could do to you and your boys, and so that was just really solid there. But yeah, I'd say out of the two factions tonight, I'd say the Pinnacle definitely had the better segment and the better promo, and then they sold the Double or Nothing pay-per-view Blood and Guts match. They sold that show very well, and so I'm looking forward to the parlay next week. It's going to be very interesting to hear what both sides have to say. I mean, it should make for a very entertaining segment.
Yeah. Now, before we move on to the women's championship match, I did hear Tony Schiavone advertise Blood and Guts during the opening match, and he said something towards a one-match show, and I'm like, whoa, what? Did you hear that?
Yeah, no, I heard that right at the start of Dynamite tonight. One-match show. I don't know how that will look. That definitely perked my ears up. One-match show. That's definitely going to be interesting to see. I doubt the match goes to 2 hours. I don't think anybody wants to watch one match for 2 hours. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how AEW sells this show off of one match and how they're going to be able to keep the fans' interest for those 2 hours with just one match booked. I mean, I don't know, maybe they'll have some segments here and there. I don't know, but I trust Tony Khan to see if he'll be able to really sell this show with just one match being booked throughout the entire 2 hours.
I have no idea how this match is going to... It's probably like a war game. I don't know. They're going to explain the rules next week. Maybe they came up with their own rules and they may want to be more creative, but I have no idea. It's what makes me so curious, man. Can we get this match already,
Dude, I'm so ready for May 5th. If anybody's ready for May 5th, then it's me. I've been waiting for this for over a year, but we've all been waiting for this for over a year, and now we're finally getting it. The amount of hype behind it is just you want to just feed into it so much, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we're 2 weeks away, but May 5th is going to be a great review here on the Big Fight Field channel, so, oh man. But moving on, we had Ty Conti challenge Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's World Championship. This felt like a big match to me. I don't know about you, but to me, this felt like the biggest women's championship match since Hikaru Shida defended the title against Thunder Rosa all the way back at All Out. Do you feel the same way as I do?
Yeah, I do. This definitely had a lot of build compared to the other, matches that Shida's had where she's defended her title. This felt like it had more of a story, more of just a great overall build to it. And I saw Ty Conti upload a promo from her home on her personal Instagram page. I looked at it, I listened to it, and the amount of passion and the genuine tears and emotion that came out of Ty Conti. I mean, you felt that. And a lot of people going into this match tonight were, tweeting out that Ty Conti should win. She needs to become women's champion. Look, folks, it's going to happen one day. No, don't you worry. It's going to happen one day. Ty Conti has massively improved so much since the days that she spent down in NXT, and now that she's here in AEW, she's massively improved. And she came up short tonight, but that doesn't mean she looked weak in defeat. I mean, she put on an awesome match with Hikaru Shida tonight. I mean, it was fantastic from start to finish. Very hard hitting, very well paced. I mean, both women really delivered tonight. Shida retained, and that ultimately was the right decision because we now see who is going to be going after Shida at Double or Nothing, most likely, after the match had concluded, and we will get into that in just a moment.
Now, let me ask you a question real quick. Do you watch the Road 2 episodes on the AEW YouTube channel?
I do tune in.
That video package between Hikaru Shida and Ty Conti, that sold me on the match. I would Ty Conti, just in case you guys don't know, I'll go over it real quick. Ty Conti basically went over her missing her best friend Anna Jay, not being there for the biggest moment of her career. But she's got a best friend, and she's got an entire family in the Dark Order behind them. She then went into -1, which I loved. She talked about how he's like her sister, and he always told that his mother told her if you're nervous about something to breathe, and they breathe before a match. So I loved that part. I loved that video package for Ty Conti, but I was one of those people who wanted Ty to win, but I knew she was not going to win. Hikaru Shida was the correct winner in this match, but this was an awesome match, and dare I say it, this was probably my favorite match of the night. I'm not going to lie. I was pretty entertained by this match. I thought Ty had it when she had the Ty KO with the knee strike to Hikaru Shida, spinning her off the back. There was some new moves from Shida that I saw in this match. She was on the top rope, and Tony Schiavone even said, I thought Ty Conti would land on her chest. You remember the one spot? Ty Conti landed right on her back on top of the turnbuckle pad and landed right on the ringside area. So that was new. And Shida got the win, I believe, with like a hook kick or something like that. But yeah, this was an awesome match, and this was my favorite match of the night, even over the main event with Jungle Boy and Darby Allin. Ty Conti has came such a far way, man. I remember I've said this. I'm pretty sure we've discussed this plenty of times too here on the reviews ever since March. Ty Conti has came a far way since her days in NXT. I remember watching her. She was not that good at all. I think. Was she let go when WWE had their about 100 releasings last year? I think she was on that list, right?
She might have been. I can't exactly remember. I mean, there so many people were let go that day. It's hard to remember every single one, but I think she might have been a part of that list.
Talk about proving a company wrong. She went out there when she got released. She's clearly dedicated to getting better, and she turned in from not being really good in NXT to an AEW. She's really good, and she's going to be a future AEW Women's Champion. I'm pretty sure Britt Baker is going to be the next champion. She came out after the match, and she pointed to the Titantron, and she brung up the rating system, and it appeared that it said Britt Baker #1 contender on the list. So basically, folks, Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida is all but confirmed for Double or Nothing, and the Doctor is your next women's champion. No doubt. No doubt.
And I, for one, have been somebody that's been saying it on this very podcast for quite a number of weeks. Britt Baker is your next AEW Women's Champion. No other person deserves that next title reign more than the Doctor, Britt Baker. So I think that match, that wonderful, wonderful match she had with Thunder Rosa, an unsanctioned match, I think that really proved that she is ready for that top spot. She was the first woman ever signed to AEW, and now her time has come. Double or Nothing, Hikaru Shida, Britt Baker, AEW Women's title, Tony Khan. Go ahead and book it, my man.
Absolutely, man. They are the two biggest names in the women's division right now. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this backstory's there. Is you remember back the first set of pandemic shows that AEW produced, we all remember Britt Baker getting her nose busted open. One of the very first big memes of Britt Baker's whole tenure of memes that she's had up until this point, where it made her look like such a badass. I mean, this was just, a normal women's match that happened on AEW Dynamite, but that one moment right there really stood out in that match, and Shida and Britt Baker for those number of weeks back at that time were just going at it, and now it really means important things at this time and juncture for the AEW Women's title. So it should be very fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. The Inner Circle. They came out. Crowd was singing loud and proud of Judas. I enjoyed it every time. He got on the microphone and he talked about the interview, MJF's promo. He said he heard some things Wardlow said, but he didn't pay attention to him because he was too busy looking at his weird eyebrows or something like that. Then Hager got on the microphone for a little bit, and I don't remember what he said, but Santana did cut a good promo, I thought. He's like, I don't necessarily, remember what he said. I think he remembered saying like you want to come in here and you want to face the best, and then you hide yourself between a group, and you decide to pick on the smaller factions and the less valuable before you get to us. That's not how it works in here. When you're locked in that cage with us, we're going to whoop your ass or something like that. And then Jericho got on the microphone making jokes, and then he said, all jokes aside, next week the rules need to be explained. So next week it's going to be the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle in the same ring for a parlay to go over the rules for this Blood and Guts match. And that was basically a segment. It was a solid segment for the Inner Circle. No question, in my opinion, this parlay is going to close the show next week. You need to have this close the show. And, yeah, man, they're going to have a parlay to review, go over the rules. I liked that they didn't take the normal route for these type of matches, basically war games, where one member of each team goes against each other, and the winner gets the advantage. That is not happening, so the rules are going to be explained next week. I'm very hyped for that, dude.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. We're one last stop next week before we get to May 5th, man. And I mean, the anticipation's killing me. It's killing me, man. But this parlay, I agree with you, Joseph. It has to close out the show. I mean, what better way to close out next week's show the week before Blood and Guts than by having the two teams come together for a parlay, discussing the rules, maybe even getting into a little bit of the chaos, a little bit, just dipping their foot into the chaos just a little bit before we get to that May 5th date, man. I'm excited, man. I'm just ready for the 2 weeks to get here, for May 5th to come right into our homes, and we can watch as Blood and Guts explodes right in our television screens.
Really quickly, would you consider next week's episode a go-home show?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, considering that Blood and Guts is being built up like a pay-per-view, and I mean, it's going to be a one-match show, so we got to see how this is going to work. I mean, if there's anybody I trust with doing something like this, it's AEW. I feel like they'll figure out a way to keep us invested for those 2 hours. I mean, they keep us invested for the 2 hours every single Wednesday night, so, May 5th really shouldn't be any different, even with the one match. So we shall see, man. But, yeah, I definitely consider next week to be a go.
Yeah. So moving on here, we had Billy Gunn against QT Marshall, 101. QT, I'm going to get it out of the way real quick. He is much better as a heel. He's great as a heel. I'm not doubting that. But the dude has no heat whatsoever right now. I mean, even you said it on Twitter. This faction with QT Marshall, a go-go, they have no heat whatsoever. The match with Billy Gunn, it was whatever. I think he could have beaten him clean. Go had to come out and punch Billy Gunn in the stomach. Then QT at the Diamond Cutter. Camarado and Solo were brawling with the Gun Club, and QT got the win. After the match, QT grabbed a chair. It was a wooden chair, and Dustin Rhodes came out with a bull rope and basically Camarado came in the ring and tried to attack Dustin. Dustin hit the chair over Camarado, and Camarado no-sold it like a beast. That was good. I really enjoyed that part, making Camarado look strong. That was it. I don't know, man. I look up the timeline throughout the show in this segment, and not really a lot of people care about this feud between the Nightmare Family and the Factory at all. So, Gene, it's not really that worth to much talk about, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you brought up, my tweet on Twitter, and I mentioned it. I mean, this really just feels like something that's there on the show. It's not really anything that people are really investing their time and emotions into. And it's a shame because, QT Marshall, I think, is a solid wrestler. I think he could be, a solid, at least upper mid-card act, if they were to push him right. But I mentioned on Twitter too how the biggest standouts for me in this entire group are Anthony Ogogo and Nick Camarado. Those two guys right there. Clearly, I feel like Ogogo, they're definitely behind. They're definitely building him up with the right jab to the liver and everything. And I mean, just his presentation. But I don't really see this faction dominating AEW. I don't see it, being a big staple on the show. It really just feels like this whole feud with the Nightmare Family is just there. And, he hasn't made his presence on the show since the initial attack from QT and his stablemate. So, we'll see how everything goes. Maybe things will turn around. I would like for it to. I would like to care more about, this whole entire storyline going on, but I just can't bring myself to care because it's just it's just there. And then QT Marshall, first time I saw him wearing this, I just the first thing comes to my mind is just bowling, because he comes out wearing his best bowling shirt every freaking week, and it almost seems like he's trying to come out like a mob boss, but at the same time, I'm I don't know how I can really take him that seriously. He looks like he's about to go bowling. It's just that. That's literally that was the first thing that came to my head when I saw that. I saw on Elevation or something. Dude looks like he's about to go. He's about to bowl 10 lanes at freaking Billy Hardwick's or something. It's just that's just how it looks to me. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, but as of right now, though, this is just something that's there to fill time on the show.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I got to tell you something. It's the definition of cool. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
Oh, yes.
They are the definition. They are the definition of cool. So, what happened here was earlier in the night, we had a trailer that said the Elite outside of Daly's place. The Young Bucks, the Good Brothers, Kenny Omega, Brandon Cutler's the personal camera guy, Don Callis, and Michael Nakazawa. I guess Michael Nakazawa replaced Hangman Page in the Elite, so Nakazawa's in the Elite. He's getting a big spotlight. What do you think, dude?
Well, I don't know, man. What an upgrade, from Hangman to Nakazawa, man. Times have really changed, haven't they? One thing that really stood out to me right here was, man, did you see the Young Bucks fits tonight? Man, those were quite the fits that Nick and Matt Jackson were rocking tonight, I must say. They are really diving into the Kenny Omega wardrobe now, the Kenny Omega heel wardrobe at this stage.
I saw the old school fashion hat that Nick Jackson was wearing, and I'm like, that those hats are awesome. I love those type of hats. So basically they were talking trash and saying Kenny Omega was making jokes, and Don Callis said that Kenny Omega is the Mega Champion, AEW Champion. He's going to be the Impact World Champion as well once he beats Rich Swann on Sunday. We all know he's going to. I will talk about it Sunday night here on the Big Fight Field channel. Young Bucks then were making jokes, and Kenny Omega was then all right, I got to say something serious. Time to get serious. He then takes his glasses off, and when he takes his glasses off, a truck starts beeping, and it's beeping, and it wouldn't stop beeping. And Kenny Omega's like, "What is going on here?" And then Don Callis is like, "Let's call security," and all the guys in there are worried. We see this huge truck. We see this huge truck with Moxley and Eddie Kingston in there, and in the truck, and they drive straight into the Elite trailer. They smash it, and they go hunting for the Jackson. And Moxley's like, "Jackson brothers, where are you guys? Get your coward asses out here." And they were talking trash, and Moxley and Eddie Kingston were even talking trash to each other. And there's like, these guys don't want to fight. They're a bunch of bitches. I don't want to say the other word, but they're a bunch of bitches. They don't want to fight. They got this new way, and he throws pipes to the windows, and they go in the trailer. They're not there. They grab one of the things that the Young Bucks had. This was excellent. Like I said, these guys, Moxley and Kingston, are the definition of cool. They come off cool. They come off genuine. You know, I love it, dude. This was, next to the women's title match and the main event, this was probably my favorite thing on the show. Can't lie. So this was excellent, dude. Holy shit.
I'm right there with you, man. I mean, this, like, I smiled from ear to ear this entire segment. Like, when I saw Moxley and Kingston, the second they rammed the truck into the Elite trailer, man, I was like, oh, this is going to get good. This is going to get real good. And then they come out of the truck, and they're bashing the windows. They're ransacking the whole trailer. I mean, it's like, who better to do this than Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston? It's only fitting that these guys would come in and ransack the place. And I mean, it's just so good. It's like watching like a TV show or something. It's like it's just like like seeing these two like badasses just come in and just wreck shop and just are looking to just absolutely maim their rivals. Man, it was just such a perfect segment. Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley. I mean, from the get-go, I've been such a big fan of this pairing. I mean, these guys, of course, have history with each other. These guys just mesh so well together. They're both amazing promos. I mean, this was so great. I honestly, now that this segment has happened, I definitely see more and more that Moxley and Kingston go after the tag titles against the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing, which should make for an excellent tag team match.
Absolutely, man. I pitched it last week, and it looks like it's happening. It looks like it's going to happen. So, moving on, we had Powerhouse Hobbs go up against Christian Cage. This was a good match. They had very simply booked. Hobbs actually got most of the offense in this match, which I'm happy about. He looked great. So he's on the outside. He rips the AEW TNT curtain off the barricade. He jams Christian's face into the guardrail. He throws him back at the ring. He's suplexing him. He's giving him clotheslines. He's looking good. Christian Cage hits a frog splash onto Hobbs. Hobbs kicks out. End of the match. Hobbs blasts Cage once again. He goes for his fin. I don't remember what they called it, but he slams Cage to the turnbuckle. He then poses. He mocks Christian with his his hand to the forehead, and that shows the inexperience. I love how they showcased that this is the inexperience that Hobbs has He was mocking Christian instead of putting him away. Christian hits him with the kill switch, beats him. After the match, Ricky Starks comes out to help Hobbs, and Ricky Starks and Christian have a face-to-face confrontation. So, leading into a future match between those two guys, I don't think it's going to happen at Double or Nothing, but a match on Dynamite between Starks and Christian Cage, sign me up, man. That should be a great match. This match was good, very simple. Hobbs dominated the match. Christian came back. Hobbs was going to put him away, but showed his inexperience, and Christian took advantage and beat him at the end. So it was good. What'd you think, dude?
Yeah, very good match. It did what it needed to do. Hobbs looked like a beast. Christian helped a lot with that. And then Christian, of course, had a big comeback at the end, hit the kill switch, showed off that experience factor over Will Hobbs, who was clearly showing a lot of inexperience in this match, and they even brought it up on commentary. So this was a very good match that was booked well, and Christian Cage comes out on top. We got a stare down between Ricky Starks and Christian Cage. And, like you mentioned, Joseph, we might be getting that match sooner rather than later on an episode of Dynamite. When that will be, we shall see. But I'm not sure what they're really going to do with Christian going into Double or Nothing. Now, I brought up that we could see Christian Cage versus Brian Cage at Double or Nothing. That could possibly be it. Maybe that's the first little hint at Brian Cage being officially axed from Team Taz, because they've been kind of teasing it for quite a while on all of AEW shows on Elevation, on Dark, and even here on Dynamite. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Christian going into May 30th. But this was a very good match, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I do see Brian Cage leaving Team Taz very soon. This is how I could see him leaving, just to pitch it out. This might not happen, but I'm just going to say it out anyway. It could either be Brian Cage loses, he gets frustrated, and he attacks Starks, or he just walks out in the group and walks out the babyface tunnel. Or something just happened last Thursday. I don't know how you would feel about this, but Samoa Joe is not in the WWE. AEW, Tony Khan, should absolutely get Samoa Joe, and they could do a situation where Samoa Joe, he comes in, he attacks Brian Cage, and he takes over as the new leader of Team Taz. And your first feud for Samoa Joe in AEW is against Brian Cage.
Well, that is very interesting. Now, I do believe all the recently released talent from WWE do have 90-day no-compete clauses. So I believe all these talents won't be available until July 14th. So we might very well be on the verge of seeing that at a later date after July 14th. But as of now, though, I don't know if I see it as soon as Double or Nothing. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting pitch you had there, Joseph. Samoa Joe being the replacement for Brian Cage and Team Taz. I mean, I feel like that dynamic could very well fit. But man, I'm telling you, man, Samoa Joe. If I'm Tony Khan, man, you gotta get Samoa Joe on the phone, man. That's one guy. When those releases happened, that was the one guy I looked at and I'm like, Tony Khan, you have got to sign this man. You have got to get him on the phone as soon as he's available and get him into your company so he can help make your company even better than what it already is.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Next week, we got the lineup announced for next week. We have Penta El Zero M versus Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford, Dustin Rhodes, Billy Gunn, and Lee Johnson against QT Marshall, Nick Comoroto, and Aaron Solo. The Young Bucks versus the Matt Sydal and Mike Sydal non-title tag team match. Hangman Page versus Brian Cage. And then we got the big parlay between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle 1 week before the big Blood and Guts match. So that is all going down next week. We will be back here, of course, next week to review that show. Main event, TNT title, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin. The future is now. This was a really good main event match. And before I give my thoughts on this match, I actually want to hear from you first on this match. Darby Allin hits the Last Supper. He rolls up Jungle Boy, which he calls it the Last Supper, and he got the roll up on Jungle Boy. And then we had the ending. So I want to get your end on the match, the ending, where's the TNT Championship going, all that stuff.
I love going first. Let's see. Well, first off, excellent TNT Championship match between Jungle Boy and Darby Allin. I mean, two of AEW's brightest future stars in this company. Undoubtedly, two guys who I can see becoming world champions at some point in their careers in AEW one day. But this is excellent from start to finish. Both guys meshed well together. After the match, we did see a bunch of chaos ensue with Lance Archer, Sting, Luchasaurus, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky. So very interesting. I feel like the TNT title picture is very unpredictable at the moment. We don't really know who Darby's going to be facing going into Double or Nothing. We don't know if it's going to be Darby versus Archer, Darby versus Ethan Page, Darby versus Scorpio Sky. We got a plethora of options here. So this was definitely a very interesting setup going into the TNT title picture going into Double or Nothing on May 30th. But the match itself, great. One of the biggest highlights of the night for me. Jungle Boy undoubtedly will be a champion one day. I can definitely see him holding that TNT title one day, but it just won't be now. But I'm intrigued to see what Darby Allin will be doing at Double or Nothing. Who will he be facing? It's going to be an interesting setup there.
I don't know, man. How would it work with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky having this new alliance? Like, are they a tag team going for a singles title? Like, I don't know what's going on. Are they going to... Maybe, here's what could happen. I don't think... Have we ever seen a multi-person match in AEW before? Like, not with no ladders and no casino battle royal, just a triple threat or a fatal four-way on a pay-per-view. I don't think we've seen one before, right?
I believe we might have seen a fatal four-way at one point, but I doubt we've seen a triple threat match in AEW. I don't think AEW's ever done a triple threat match, so I don't know how they're going to work. Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, I've always thought right from the beginning of this partnership with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, it didn't really make sense. It was just very random and out of the blue. Like, these are two singles guys who I prefer to only be singles guys that were just randomly thrown together. And then, especially look at Scorpio Sky. I mean, he just got out of SCU with Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. So, like, now you're just pairing with another tag team with Ethan Page, who it's a very random pairing. Like, what relationship do these guys really have? So, I haven't really been that much of a fan of it from the get-go. And so, I'm not sure. I mean, Scorpio Sky did lose his match against Darby Allin all those weeks ago for the TNT title, and then that's when we saw the full heel turn commence. And Ethan Page, I mean, he's someone I can definitely see, over time being in contention for the TNT title. But yeah, I'm not sure how they're really going to play all of it out. I mean, I guess we'll have to see in the coming weeks. But yeah, it's intriguing, but it's also like a bit confusing at the same time.
Yeah, because the last time we've seen these guys on TV was when Scorpio Sky lost to Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. That's really the last time I remember them seeing them. So if they're in a match, TNT title at Double or Nothing, I can't really see any of but I can't really see Page or Scorpio Sky winning the title. If someone in this entire scenario is going to take the TNT title off of Darby Allin, it's Lance Archer. And personally, if Lance Archer was to take the TNT Championship off of Darby Allin, I have no problem with that. That is 1 year from when Lance Archer was in the first inaugural TNT title match at Double or Nothing, and he came up short against Cody. How about 1 year later, Lance Archer challenges for the TNT Championship against Darby Allin. This time, he wins the title. Well, I could see that happening. I'm not sure. My other option is I would just wait until Pac is done with the Best Friends, and I would personally have him win the TNT title.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that either. I mean, a lot of people have brought up Pac being the one to dethrone Darby, and I can definitely see that. I mean, Pac undoubtedly is going to be TNT champion at some point anyway, but I think I'm mostly a fan, though, of that whole Lance Archer facing Darby at Double or Nothing 1 year to the day of, him losing to Cody in the finals of the TNT title tournament. And then, 1 year later, he goes up against Darby Allin, wins the title. I mean, the story's right there. And Lance Archer, I mean, I don't see how you don't put a title on him. I mean, just seeing the caliber of work he always puts in. But and here we were talking about, like, we could very well see Archer and Sting go at it, but now that doesn't really look like that's happening. I mean, again, it's kind of all over the place. It's like we can see a plethora of different matches, different storylines playing out because of this. But I kind of do enjoy the fact that the TNT title picture is unpredictable at the moment. It's not like, oh, we definitely know, like, who Darby Allin's going to face here. We definitely know how this is going to play out. I like the fact that it has that unpredictability factor to it. So it keeps us guessing.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. So we'll have to see what happens in the coming weeks for AEW. We'll have to see. But that is your review for tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Thank you guys so much for watching the review tonight. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. We are literally 8 subscribers away until 400 subscribers. I know, very close. It's 8 subscribers. That's all we need until we get to 400. Let's get to 400 subscribers very soon here on the channel. Comment down below your thoughts on tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Let us know down in the comments below. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from myself and Wesley Williams here tonight. You can follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. Wes, I mean, you say it every week. Where can they follow you on Twitter?
Where can you follow me? Oh, you already know, at big_Wes18 on Twitter. That is big_Wes18, BIG_WES18 on Twitter. I live tweet AEW Dynamite. I live tweet NXT every Tuesday. You know where to find me. I give out the best tweets on all of Twitter. And so thank you guys so much for showing up tonight, for listening to what Joseph and I had to say. Always a pleasure to talk AEW Dynamite. I always love talking about my favorite and the best pro wrestling show of the week. Wednesday nights are pro wrestling nights. And folks, thank you so much for taking time to watch us. Be sure to be back here next week for April 28th for a big episode there. One last show, one last stop. We get to May 5th, Blood and Guts, which a show, man, I cannot wait to dive into it and talk about, man. It's going to be great. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. 8 subscribers, you heard, man, 8. That's a small number. 8 subscribers, man. 400 subscribers. Give my boy Joseph the 400 subscribers on Big Fight Field. You already know what to do. Just 8 more subscribers. That's all it takes. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us that subscription. And, folks, we're out of here.
Hell yeah, man. 8 more subscribers. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys for SmackDown on Friday. So be sure to come for that review. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy, man.